Of course, the loss of civilian life in Gaza is absolutely tragic, and nothing I'm saying here is meant to minimize the horror of it. I'm repeating myself on this point for a reason, because it's very difficult to maintain moral clarity in the presence of dead and injured children. Okay, our hearts tell us to rescue children by whatever means possible, and it's a good thing that we have that response. But we can't lose sight of the fact that all this tragedy and horror has been consciously engineered by Hamas for reasons that make perfect sense to jihadists, but which no normal army has ever contemplated or would ever contemplate. Yes, this conflict has many of the features of ordinary guerrilla warfare, but guerrilla warfare plus certainty of paradise is much worse. There is simply no good way to fight an enemy of this kind. When you are fighting jihadists, your own scruples, the shame and horror you feel at killing non-combatants, become another weapon in their hands. Jihadists are very clever. They know that by our own moral code, the images of innocent civilians being killed in Gaza are totally unacceptable. They know that we can only tolerate so much of that, lest we become unrecognizable to ourselves, lest we become monsters. But these people are already monsters. Hamas simply doesn't care about Palestinian children, and they are committed to murdering Israeli children whenever they can. That is why they have to be destroyed. There are only terrible and more terrible options here. And again, the problem is deeper than Israel and the Palestinians. Eventually, Muslim societies need to understand that their religious beliefs, specifically the doctrines about jihad and martyrdom, make any conflict of this kind far more pointlessly horrible than it needs to be. That is their fault, and it will remain their fault no matter how many children die in Gaza. Again, modern, democratic, largely secular societies must wake up to the reality of the situation. We have a sadistically insane terrorist organization raping, torturing, and murdering non-combatants and taking hostages, including children, and then using their own children as human shields so that they cannot be effectively fought by civilized people. They know that eventually civilized people become a little less civilized in situations like this and can care only so much about collateral damage. So Israel can be expected to slip off the moral high ground by killing enormous numbers of non-combatants and even commit its own war crimes eventually. And civilized people the world over who imagine themselves unimplicated in this conflict will become hysterical and put pressure on Israel to stop fighting, as they did even before Israel started fighting. The crucial distinction, which almost no one can keep in view, is that there are now two types of people in this world: those who intentionally torture and kill children and other non-combatants to maximize horror, and those who seek to avoid doing so, however imperfectly, while defending themselves against the first sort of people. The gulf between these two groups could not be wider, and everything we care about, literally everything, exists on one side of it.